And we are back here for the Fuel Sportsman Series live from the Auto Club Speedway here in Fontana, California. It is Fuel Night tonight here on the NESRN. A good evening, ladies and gentlemen, lads of all ages, live from SoCal. We're getting ready to get season number 3 of the Fuel Racing League Sportsman Series underway here from California, the Auto Club Speedway, the defunct Auto Club Speedway, here for the first race of season number 3. The Fuel Sportsman Series, the Napa 100, here from the Auto Club Speedway. Glad to have everybody aboard here tonight for the first race of the season, here for the Fuel Sportsman Series and live from the NESRN booth. My name is Trey Wright. 50 laps are on the docket here for tonight's 100-mile race here in Southern California. Set to be a fantastic evening here in SoCal. Beautiful night sky here in Southern California, and trying to see and cycle all the drivers here on the grid. A lot of returning drivers and a lot of new drivers here this evening. There's a look at Tyler Stallhood, who's doing his best Alex Clubb impression by wrecking. 5 minutes ago here in happy hour, so we'll go over the starting lineup. No surprise to see Apollo Hyde on the pole position, looking to pick up right where she left off a couple of weeks ago. Over at Michigan, a track identical in nearly every way, shape, and form here to the Auto Club Speedway. Of course, rest in peace on the outside pole, Vincenzo Focusato. So there's a 63 machine of Jesse Bowling making their first start here for the Fuel Racing League with under 5 minutes to go in happy hour. Then you got Ike Durbin starting in third there in that unsponsored Pontiac. Crystal Bennett to the outside of Durbin. There's Bennett in that Interstate Batteries Chevrolet machine. Newcomer here for this season, Lucas Kennedy driving the Target number 20 Dodge, a Jimmy Spencer throwback, and of course Dunlop Prod, who was battling with Keith Hughes in the last race that we ran here on the Fuel Sportsman Series. Over at Michigan, LaPrade will start a little deep in the field to not qualify, and he will start in the 11th spot. Kennedy will start in 10th. There's Keon Daly, some fresh paint there for that number 94 car. In front of him, like we saw Vincenzo Focusato rocking the BWT Pontiac. There's more cars coming out of the pit lane. There's Jason Stereo running the Miller High Life Dodge. It's Miller time and hopefully W time there for that 63 machine. Tyler Stallhood returned to the Ray Bestos colors after representing Applebee's for the last couple of weeks. And that's all the drivers that we have got on track so far here this evening. Some other drivers to mention: Rafaela Sorensen, Jelaine Sims, Emmy Schizzato towards the bottom of the pylon of the 14 cars that are starting. Schizzato, a late entry into the server during qualifying. So the graphics will say 13 cars are starting, but it's actually 14 cars that'll make the starting grid. Blake Warren, also a car that we have not seen yet. A Stallhood will commit tow car and go into the wall. A lot of cars in some pretty stuck places here this evening. No sign of Apollo Hyde during happy hour just yet. Of course, this is a fixed setup division here for this Fuel Sportsman Series. And set to be a great season as well for the Fuel Sportsman Series, as we'll take a look at the schedule for season number 3. It should say season 3. It says season 2, but Auto Club here this evening on the 1st of the month. Augusta Speedway will be next week here on the 8th. Then we go to Cape Cod International Raceway, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and Darlington Raceway, the first 5 races on the slate. Then we go on the road course at Old Spice for the second time this season on a road course. Then we'll go to Strawberry Valley, Richmond Raceway, to the Tricky Triangle of Pocono Raceway, and the high banks of Hillside, Grand Junction's Roval Complex for the penultimate race of the season. And then we'll go to the Homestead Miami Speedway for the final race of the season, and that will be also in the middle of the Fuel Grand National Series' third season. of the year, their 7th season total with Apollo Hyde, winning the championship 2 nights ago in Iowa. Congratulations to her, as Keon Daly will do his best Michael McDowell impression. Still no sign of Apollo Hyde as she won the pole position here this evening, setting a lap time of 38.574 in the number 100 machine. But glad to have everybody aboard here for tonight's opening race of this season. Hopefully we'll try to get every race broadcasted live. Could be a couple of tape-delayed races that we'll have this season, but nonetheless, glad to have everybody aboard here. 8 cars out so far for happy hour, where Dunlaprod trying to dial in his 74 car a little bit here. Has the fastest time in happy hour. He was battling Keith Hughes, like we mentioned, for that final win of the season. Back at Michigan, Stallhood will spin that 7-car round. He'll go to a proverbial backup car. Doesn't really matter. Still no sign of Rafaela Sorensen, Jelaine Sims, or Emmy Schizzato. They did not lay down qualifying laps. Same as Jason Stereo, Lucas Kennedy, and Dunlaprod. About 30 seconds remaining here in happy hour as Crystal Bennett will jump to the top of the board here, running a 1/10 of a lap faster time there than Dunlaprod. Trying to see if anybody else will come out here for qualifying. And there's Apollo Hyde spinning that 100 car around as Focusato will give a little bit of a love tap to the defending champion. Has won 2 straight championships, 3 straight championships, in fact, here on the Fuel Racing League. Has won 2 championships, both of them for the Fuel Grand National Series. Won that one in Newton, Iowa a couple of nights ago, like we said. Of course, is the defending champion for the Sportsman Series. Here that runs on Friday nights. So if you watch the ARCA race, you know that we have got a lot of fun in store here tonight. After a fun race in Newton, Iowa, we come here to Southern California to a relic of the past. Apollo Hyde will go back, and everybody's up into the catch fence. So I think we're getting ready to go racing here in just a couple of moments. There's a look at that 41 machine of Rafaela Sorensen. Only car we're missing so far is Emmy Schizzato, I believe, and Jelaine Sims. We'll see them later on, but we're going to step aside here for a couple of moments as everybody will grid up in preparation for race number 1 of the season.
Drivers, to your cars.
Drivers, start your engines.
And the engines will roar to life here. And everybody getting ready to grid up here on the pit lane. Apollo Hyde sits on the pole position, like we said, in the number 100 machine, with Vincenzo Focusato to her outside in car number 37. Crystal Bennett and Ike Durbin in row number 2. Warren, Tyler Stallhood in row number 3. Everybody will get set and going here. So everybody will roll off onto the back straightaway. Off of the pit lane, we'll take a look at tonight's race analysis. 14 cars slated to start. Point of no return, lap 46 of 50 here for 100 miles. 2-mile D-shaped oval with 4 turns. 14 degrees of banking in the corners. Pit window for tonight, going to be right towards the end of the race. Everybody will have to make a necessary pit stop, I should say. potentially stretch the fuel all the way to the end of the race. Being able to make 50 laps here if they stretch their fuel tanks enough. So as the field will go through turns 3 and 4, getting ready to start season number 3 of the Fuel Sportsman Series. Glad to have everybody aboard here this evening as Apollo Hyde, the champion from last season, will lead this field through the restart zone. Pontiac pace car is down the pit lane. Here they go through the restart zone. Green flag waving in the air, and we're underway for season 3 of Sportsman. Oh, and everybody going around in the back. A couple of cars going around on the back straightaway. Has the yellow flag come out? Do not show. Yes, it does. And the yellow flag will fly here on lap number 1 of the night. A multi-car accident. A little bit of a delayed reaction on our part because we're trying to make sure the stream was nice and healthy. But Apollo Hyde will lead them back to the caution flag here to open up season number 3 with a wreck on the back straightaway. So Apollo Hyde will lead them back onto the backstretch here, and I believe this will be a good time for everybody to come down the pit lane to do their only pit stop of the evening that they're mathematically going to be able to do. Hyde won the race back to the line there over the 37 machine. Bump drafting the Pontiac pace car there a little bit. A couple of Pontiacs going after it. Let's see if she will come down the pit lane. If anybody will come down the pit lane. Looks like Focusato, Stallhood, 20 of Kennedy, and everybody else will head into the pit area here. Focusato will lead that BWT number 37 machine down into the pit area. Same thing with Tyler Stallhood. You know what, we're going to go on board with Tyler Stallhood as he will go in for his pit stop. Drives through Blake Warren's pit box, but he will be nice and orderly. Going down through is Crystal Bennett will drive past the number 7 machine. Looks like 4 Goodyear tires going all the way around Tyler Stallhood's machine. He will be out and away. I believe he will win the race off the pit lane, and he will. A little bit of a slow stop there for Focusato, so Stallhood will jump up. 3 cars staying out. We got Hyde, Jason Stereo, and Keon Daly stayed out on the pit lane. We're going to take a look and see what happened to put us under the caution flag for the first time this evening. Several cars going around on the back straightaway right off of the start. We're not entirely sure how that started. Oh, a couple of guys catching the inside seam like we saw at Michigan a couple of weeks ago. So here's Ike Durbin, who was the first car to break. You see Crystal Bennett glitching a little bit in and out there, but it doesn't look like she made contact. Both Warren and Durbin, some synchronized spinning on the back straightaway. Saw the 63 car up into the outside wall as well. Not your traditional multi-car accident. I think this is where the multi will come in, and Rafaela Sorensen doing a whale of a job avoiding the spinning 8 machine, but her going into the inside wall will officially make that a multi-car spin. And the 84 also going around the back straightaway. We'll get another look at it here. We'll look from our turn 2 cam as everybody gets spun around. Oh, a little bit of contact between Bennett and Stallhood looks to be the culprit of what happened there with those drivers. We'll get one final look at this accident as we will go on board with Rafaela Sorensen. Let's see what they saw on the opening lap. See the 63 machine up in the outside wall. Sorensen initially going high, then going way low and just barely avoiding Blake Warren's car before smacking into the inside wall. A couple of cars going around here on the opening lap. Nonetheless, we're back here, getting ready to go back to the green flag here in just a couple of moments as Stallhood will come down the pit lane. As the field rolls onto the back straightaway here. Nope. They're through turn 4. And we're going to get this race restarted here on lap number 5. Hyde is the control car. She will lead this field through the Reese's restart zone. Green flag back out in the air. And hopefully we can get a little bit more stuff here. It's a good restart there for Apollo Hyde. Battle is on for second, way loose out of the corner. That was the 96 of Jason Stereo that was wrecking loose out of turn 2. Hit the outside wall there just a little bit. Trying to dive bomb the corner. Now they're going to go up the racetrack through turn 4 once again. Trying to let out of the gas there is the 96 machine. Focusato will go to second, and Apollo Hyde looking to check out here. 5 laps into the season. 1 caution already on the board. 12 cars starting this race with Jelaine Sims and Emmy Focusato not on the grid here this evening. Nearly 3 wide off of corner number 2. It's Dunlap there in car number 74 trying to race with the 84 and the 8 as Blake Warren will make some ground up in the 8 machine. Around the corner goes the 8 car, and he's going to force the 74 of LaPrade into the outside wall just a little bit. They're able to keep their automobile straight, however, and will remain green for now. Couple of cars staying out here on that last caution. Up into the outside wall is Stereo in the 96 car, and he is going to lose a lot of spots. Everybody will duck down to the inside. Only a single car incident in Stereo will join the 63 of Jesse Bowling. 2 rookies here on the track this evening. Some back markers in the back of the field along with Tyler Stallhood. 20 cars make that 9 cars. All in line with one another. All within striking distance, I should say. Somebody getting real loose to the corner. You can hear those Eagles screaming a little bit back in there. Everybody now single file going down the back straightaway here at Auto Club. Battle for second heating up as here comes Blake Warren down to the low side of Focusato. Warren trying to get down beneath that 37 car. They're going to go side by side, going onto the front straightaway. Here comes a run for Crystal Bennett. Bennett has a lane to go 3 wide, will instead stay tucked in on the outside with the 37 car. Now the battle for third is on. It's a 3-way battle for second. Make it a 4-way battle as Keon Daly will join the fray. 4 cars underneath the blanket. Daly will smack the outside wall. He's able to keep that Dodge straight. He rejoins in line with 5 cars up the front end of this field. 4 of them trying to chase the tail of that number 100 machine. And around goes the 84. Bennett hard into the outside wall. Just a single car spin. But once again, clipping that low line. And Bennett with the entire rear end jacked up there in car number 84. Not what you want there. They were running in third at the time, and the yellow flag will fly here for that accident. Single car accident. as Vincenzo Focasato will remain in second. Apollo Hyde will remain up in the race lead here. Under our second caution of the evening here at Auto Club, and I believe everybody is going to come down the pit lane here this next time around. So while we have a chance, we'll go ahead and take a look. Actually, we'll wait until everybody comes down the pit lane there. I was trying to get things situated on a brand new Stream Deck here this evening. Shout out Amazon and Elgato for coming in the clutch here over the last 2 days. Ordered a Stream Deck after the Grand National race on Wednesday night. Came here on the Friday night that we're doing this. Came here this evening. Spent about 2 hours setting everything up, so we got everything going here on the Stream Deck. Glad to be a little bit better of a production than we were, as everybody will hit the pit lane here. Who's going to stay out? Tyler Stallhood will stay out an extra lap. But it's going to be feeding time here on the pit lane. Everybody will come down. 20 car bugging in a little bit back and forth there. Everybody jittering here for just a little bit. So Apollo Hyde will come down the pit lane there, and car number 100, Ike Durbin, will overshoot his pit stall there just a little bit. And Hyde will be the first car on the pit lane. We'll see what she does. 4 fresh Hoosier tire, rather Goodyear tires going all the way around. Still got some offline lingo on the brain. Keon Daly will jump up to third, but it's Hyde, Focasato, and Daly. Your top 3 off. Top 5 rounded out by Warren and the 74 of Dunn LaPrade. And Crystal Bennett still a lot of damage on the back end of that number 84 machine. We'll go ahead and see what happened to Bennett going through turn number 4. We saw the tail end of it right at the start-finish line. Looks like they may have gotten a little bit of help. We'll take a look at the replay. Not sure if Warren got in the back end of the 84. Looks like he did. Just a little love tap there from Warren. And that did make the incident a multi and just hard rear end first into that safer barrier. Fortunately, we've got the Cup 98 cars and not the next-gen cars. But a hard lick into the outside wall there for Crystal Bennett. We'll get another couple looks at it here. First off, we'll go from the backside of Crystal Bennett to see her view of this. The back end of Bennett's number 84 machine, just a little bit of a love tap there from Warren, and pow, hard into the safer barrier. Just one car going around, fortunately. Now from Blake Warren's POV. The I just realized we didn't have desktop audio for half of that. Everybody here involved. As Apollo Hyde will retain the race lead here. It's actually going to be Tyler Stallhood that will retain the race lead as the field will come off of turns 3 and 4 to take the green flag here once again. It'll be Stallhood, the first car, the only car that stayed out, will lead the field back through the restart zone. Green flag back out of the air here on lap number 14. Stallhood with a really good jump over the field. It's Apollo Hyde trying to utilize those new tires. Hyde will jump up all the way on the top side there, trying to get the run off of the corner. The cars into the outside wall, and here comes Hyde down to the low side of Stallhood. The two owners of the Fuel Racing League going back and forth. Stallhood looking for the crossover underneath the 100. Trying to get the run off of the corner is that Kodak Advantix machine. And Hyde will indeed get the race lead back. Stallhood now falls down into the clutches of the 37 and the 94. Daly looking to go underneath the Focusato. Focusato will take second back away. Way up the top side goes the 100. So really good racing there from Apollo Hyde, going to the high side, running the cars Kyle Larson line that we typically see here at the Auto Club Speedway and at Michigan. Typically just from short or just tracks in general there from Kyle Larson, always whipping that top line here. Again, all these lanes here are utilizable for racing. Got paint on the bottom side, which is very grippy. We saw that from a couple of cars already. Asphalt in the middle, concrete up top. And Hyde has been usually running that concrete line. You saw her run the paint line that last time by. Hyde rolling through the corner once again in car number 100. Take a look at some of the guys in the back end of the field here. LaPrade and Warren. Racing in the back here as LaPrade fell back quite a ways away. Was in 6th a couple of moments ago. Crystal Bennett has been able to gain a lot of downforce in that 84 car, missing the rear bumper of that Interstate Batteries machine. Still rocking P6 right now and has got fresher rubber than Tyler Stallhood. I imagine that they'll be able to catch the 7 machine here in the next couple of laps as we approach the midway point. Through the Napa 100, battle for second. Cooking back up here is Keon Daly utilizing the paint line down low. Looking a slide job up top for Focusato. He will take second away. Focusato looking to repay the favor on the other side of the racetrack. We'll see if he will make his move through 1 and 2. But it's Keon Daly up to the penultimate position in car number 94. Still a little ways away from that 100 machine of Hyde. Trying to run away from all these guys. Fly by the field here on the back straightaway. And it's Hyde who currently leads. Daly now just trying to find some grip there on that Dodge. Same thing with Focusato. Ike Durbin now up to 4th. Actually, Durbin has been in 4th, but he has had a quiet night so far. Wasn't involved in that 4-way battle for the lead. Right about when Crystal Bennett was punted out of the way by Blake Warren. Bennett now trying to get inside the top 5 with a car that looks straight out of the 1970s with how high that rear end is. LaPrade continuing to hemorrhage some spots there in car number 74. And Blake Warren once again behind the 84 car. He's going to wash up the racetrack just a little bit there. He will stay ramrod straight. 3 cars under a blanket trying to fight for the top 5 spot here. Meanwhile, in the back, Hyde continue to have about a 5-car length lead over Keon Daly. Focus on this battle for 5th right back in here. Trying to get the run off the corner was Bennett. Here comes Warren. He's got to go down to the low side. Nearly ran the 84 over for the 2nd time tonight. Those two side by side once again. Here's we're 40% of the way through tonight's race. Warren at the line will take 6th away from Bennett. Bennett on the top side, trying to make everything work up top, is way off the pace. That's the 96 of Jason Stereo. Just trying to pedal that Unicole machine, the Unicole Chevrolet, around his first race of the season. Same thing with the 41 car of Rafael Sorensen. Had that good save right at the beginning. Warren now has got the Jaws theme playing on the back end of the 7. As Stallhood has been able to manage to remain in this top 5 for the majority of this run, and the commentator's curse will strike immediately as Warren will dive underneath the 7 car. Blake Warren will enter the top 5 in that Dale Jr. machine, and here we go. Battle for the race lead down the back straightaway. Daly had a run off of the corner. Tucked back in line behind the 100 machine, and Hyde trying to run that low line once again. Go on board with Keon Daly down the front straightaway. Got a good run on the 100 that last time around. See what Daly's able to do through the corner. Hyde checking up a little bit. Daly trying to get the run off, not able to get it. Now back here with Vincenzo Focusato as he will focus on this battle for the top spot. Focusato, these two will get together before the midway point through this race, but everybody should be able to make it via Newell here for Fuel Racing League. Daly back in front, off the back end of Apollo Hyde on the other side. That is a fast Dodge RT that is right behind the leader, the dominant driver of this race so far. Daly is trying to find a little bit of a ledge to get underneath of that 100. Hit the wrong graphic there for a brief moment. Had to turn. Trying to turn that graphic off there on the stream deck, of course. Had it for 2 hours in my possession, so I'm trying to figure out how to utilize it. Halfway point through the contest will be next time by. So Apollo Hyde continues to lead here of the 12 cars, make it 11 cars on track. The 63 of Jesse Bowling has pulled it behind the wall. Hyde around the corner. Daly a line lower than Hyde. Hyde will shut the door on Daly as Daly will go up the hill off turn number 4. And Apollo Hyde will lead at the midway point here through the Napa 100. We're going to send it downstairs here for a cookout race break. So what do you say we go downstairs and go through the field here, presented by Fram. So Apollo Hyde leads the way in car number 100. She has dominated the race so far this evening. Keon Daly waiting in the wings in car number 94. Vincenzo Focusato rounds out the podium. Mike Durbin is in 4th. Lucas Kennedy will now get around Blake Warren to round out the top 5. Blake Warren runs in 6th. Tyler Stallhood 7th for the 7th car. Crystal Bennett runs in 8th. Dunlaprod 9th. Rafaela Sorensen rounds out the top 10. Jason Stereo rounds out all 11 cars on track here. And that will do it here for our cookout race break. We went through the field, presented by Fram. 11 cars still on track. Fastest lap of the evening so far belonging to Crystal Bennett, running a 38.455. That last time around. Everybody that is still online here this evening as we're officially in the back end of the race. 2 cautions so far. One of them on lap number 1, a 4-car incident on the back straightaway coming out of turn 2. And then Crystal Bennett, a little pop from behind there from the 8 of Blake Warren, who's trying to fight underneath of Jason Barnes there, or Lucas Kennedy, I should say, for 5th. Those two go nose to tail, and Warren will duck that 8 machine down to the low side. Trying to get the slide job maneuver on the low end of the 20 car. But Kennedy holding his ground, nearly chopped the front end off of Warren, and Warren a hard charger on the back end of this 20 machine. Go on on the back end of Lucas Kennedy in the Dodge machine. A little bit tight going through the corner. Warren running up on the back end of that 20 car. He goes into the outside wall and he'll lose some momentum. Kennedy just still trying to fight off there that 20, but here comes Warren. He's going to clip the apron by just a little bit. Warren will now fall back into the clutches of Tyler Stallman. Good top 5 run there for Kennedy so far, but the battle is back on for the race lead as Daly just trying to find a way around Apollo Hyde. Focusato overdrive in the corner there a little bit in that Pontiac. He's able to hold his machine and his wheels underneath of him. And Apollo Hyde has faced a little bit of pressure so far in this race, but nothing too great to deal with so far in that 94 car. Only dealt with that 94 car by just a little bit so far tonight here and there, but overall Apollo Hyde, like we said, one of the most dominant and consistent drivers that we've got here in the Fuel Racing League. As a couple of cars going down the pit lane here. Rafaela Sorensen, Dunlop Prod into the pit area. Looks like there was a little bit of damage. I thought I saw a little bit of damage on that Coors machine. Sorensen down the pit lane. Same thing with LaPrade and these guys. Don't believe they should have to come down the pit lane again. I believe well, they definitely came down the last time by. Not sure if they both had an issue. Hyde continues to show the way. Daly will now fall back into the possession of Focusato in that battle for a second. Daly down to the low side of that 94 machine. Focusato just looking for a ledge. 3 cars fighting for this race lead as Ike Durbin has slipped back a little ways away there outside of this battle for the lead. 86 car closing in there just a little bit as Focusato now down to the low side. Daly just trying to hold on desperately. Focusato trying to utilize that low line. He's not able to get enough of a ledge going into turn 2. Daly with a little bit of a run on the back end of the 100. Not enough to really worry Hyde all that much would be my guess there. Still go single file. 17 laps to go here from Auto Club. Daly with another little bit of a run, and he's within striking distance of the 100. 96 car hard into the outside wall. Jason Stereo. I think he absolutely knocked down that wall off of turn number 2. He is on the access road as the leaders will go past him. Hyde continues to dominate here with 16 laps to go. Like we said at the top of the show, taking a look at our schedule once again. Next week, we'll be at Augusta Speedway. 1.5-mile track, similar to the Trenton Fairgrounds Raceway by the fact that there is a massive freaking turn right in the middle of the back straightaway. A lot worse than what we typically see at Trenton. After that, the road course of Cape Cod International, Las Vegas, and Darlington to round out the first 5 weeks of competition, and here we go. Apollo Hyde coming down the pit lane here with 15 laps to go, and Vincenzo Focusato will also come down. So everybody could not make it on fuel to the end of this race. So they will come down the pit lane. Everybody else inside the top 5 will elect to stay out. Crystal Bennett will come down as well in car number 84. But this is going to be the money stop here with 15 laps to go. Hyde down, will come into her pit stall. Focusato, a couple of spots right behind her, exactly right behind her. Hyde a little bit faster. I thought somebody was going around in the back there. Hyde first off of the jack. She will beat the 37 car off of the pit lane. Now how does Daly fare on their pit stop? Will be the big question. Out and away was the 100 of Hyde. They're going through turn number 2 right now. And Daly still trundling down the pit lane here. He's moving at, I think pit road speed was 45 miles an hour here at Auto Club. And is Daly going to be able to get off in time? Hyde rolling through turns 3 and 4. Daly in the back and just now getting right side tires. Hyde off of turn number 4. They're at the front straightaway. Daly out of his pit stall. I think this is going to be Hyde's race to lose here as Daly coming off of the pit lane. Daly just trying to get the run off, but he is not going to be able to. And Apollo Hyde, utilizing the undercut, will go back to the race lead here. Daly will surrender second to Vincenzo Focasato. And how dominant that 100 car has been all night long, I believe that may have been the race right there unless we get a caution. Good strategy for Daly, was able to lead a lap there in that 94 machine. But as they cycle back around, I believe Daly is going to be about 3 seconds off the pace, off the back end of the 100 machine. Exactly almost 4 seconds off the pace of Apollo Hyde, and she has just been absolutely putting together a beating there in that Pontiac. Funny, I think, how many races have we done so far for the NASRN for both series? We did the season finale for the Sportsman series a couple of weeks ago, where Keith Hughes won that race over Don LaPrade. Didn't see a whole lot out of that 100 machine that afternoon. And then we had 2 races. We had the race that Vincenzo Focasato won at Daytona. Then we had the 2 races Kirsten Bell won, and we had the 2 races that Zach Rogers won. The way things stand right now, I think this is the first time in NASRN history that we're going to witness an Apollo Hyde victory. If things stay that way that they have, Tyler Stallhood, I believe he pitted 2 laps later than everybody else, and he is absolutely rocketing around in that 7 car. Don LaPrade on older tires than everybody else. Now Stallhood fighting with the 86 machine of Ike Durbin. That's the battle for 5th right now. Durbin on the outside lane with 10.5 laps to go. Stallhood washes a little bit up the racetrack. Here comes the crossover going down the back straightaway. Durbin and Stallhood door to door. Taking a look at this battle from the back end of the 74 of Don LaPrade. Houston still trying to fight side by side, but Durbin will settle in. 10 laps to go for Apollo Hyde, as she has dominated this race so far. 11 of the 12 cars that started still on track here. Hyde through turns 3 and 4 as we get a wide shot here. Again, a gone but certainly not forgotten gem here, the Auto Club Speedway. The sister track to both Michigan and Auto Club, or Michigan and Texas World here this evening. Certainly a lot of memories here at the Auto Club Speedway. They'll be lost to time. Some of the more minor ones will be lost to time, but some of the more memorable ones will stay within the sport of auto racing forever. And of course, it was utilized as the Daytona International Speedway in the movie Ford vs. Ferrari. As much as I love that movie, that is probably one of my biggest pet peeve with that movie is the fact that, hey, Daytona still exists. Like, we're going to use Willow Springs for just a couple of random test shots. And, you know, of course they utilized some other random track for Riverside, but hey, Riverside doesn't exist. Daytona still exists. I get that Auto Club has a little bit more of a retro feel to it than Daytona, but you still had some of the grandstands that looked a little bit modern in the film. I get that you can't exactly do a film set in 1966 at Daytona in present day 2019, but is what it is. Can't complain other than just that little nitpick. Great movie all around. Top 10 racing movie in my opinion. I've still got to see the new F1 movie. Speaking of movie, that's got Brad Pitt and the other one's got Matt Damon. Those two kind of interchangeable at this state and time. Durbin and Stallhood still door to door, battling for 6th right here. Still have enough time for a potential yellow flag to come out here as we approach the 45-minute mark of this race. Really quick race so far with 6 laps to go. Hyde has built up a 2-second lead over Vincenzo Focasato. Again, want to shout out Keon Daly for what he was able to do here tonight. Got a lap led, was fighting for the race lead a little bit, but I think he just beat up those Eagles just a little bit more than he wanted to. Tried a good strategy, didn't pan out for him for the win, but the way things stand right now, he's got about a 2-second lead over LaPrade. Count them 5 laps to go. We're at the point of no return. If you wreck now, there'll be no yellow, will remain green, and that's exactly at the point where Apollo Hyde wanted to get to. It's Blake Warren. Issue there for Warren going through the corner. He's been in the outside wall quite a few times. It's been another trial and tribulation night so far for Blake Warren in that Budweiser machine. Tough break for him so far this evening. Same thing with Lucas Kennedy. Started up inside the top 5 on one of those restarts. Still running in 7th right now. Trying to get up in this battle here for 5th as Stallhood and Durbin continue to be side by side. Durbin might get the better of Stallhood off the corner. Stallhood might be there. But Durbin will take that 5th spot away from Stallhood. See if Stallhood will dive back down to the bottom side of the corner, and he will. Looking on the back end of the 86 once more. 3 laps to go. Stallhood trying to get around and get a top 5 finish there for that Ray Besto's Camry. Toyota in the grid so far this evening. Here he goes down to the low side once again, and he is going to turn around the 86. Hard into the outside wall goes the 86 and the 7. Again, we are at the point of no return, so no caution will come out. An absolute heartbreak there for Ike Durbin. Durbin will go back down the racetrack, a heavily damaged Pontiac. He was running in 5th, and we saw that happen live. That is such a tough break. With sticks high in the air, 2 laps to go, make it a lap and a half to go now for Apollo Hyde. 2-second lead over Focasato, and Focasato just trying to get up on the back end of the 100. Turns 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. White flag is in the air, 1 lap to go here at the Auto Club Speedway, and Hyde will take it. Nearly a 2.5-second lead over Vincenzo Focasato as Tyler Stallhood will go a lap down. Off turn 2, onto the back straightaway here for the final time. Looking to get her first win of the season, her first win on the North American Sim Racing Network. More importantly, trying to pick up right where she left off from a couple of days ago. Off turn 4, Checkered flag waving in the air, and it will go to Apollo Hyde. She'll get the job done here at Auto Club. Vincenzo Focasato will get second. Keon Daly third. Fourth will be Dunlaprod. Rounding out the top 5, Lucas Kennedy in car number 20. Taking a look at your top 10 there. 11 cars finished this race. 9 of them were on the lead lap. And Apollo Hyde, last year's champion, will pick up right where she left off. One of the most dominant drivers, if not the most dominant driver here in the Fuel Racing League, Apollo Hyde, in that number 100 Kodak Advantix machine, will get the job done here in Southern California. Valiant effort from both Focasato and Daly. Focasato will look to next week's race in Augusta. Same thing with Daly, but right now, that 100 car of Apollo Hyde is your winner. She'll take it down to the start-finish line, and she is going to give these fans a smoke show here on the front straightaway. Or I believe she will just park it. Taking a look at that 100 that has seen so much success here in the Fuel Racing League. And that will do it here for the race portion of this broadcast. But of course, stick around here for the interview portion of this broadcast when Apollo Hyde gets the job done. And we're going to be back here in just a couple of moments as we prep for our interviews. But Apollo Hyde is your winner of the Napa 100 here at the Auto Club Speedway. Oof. Alrighty, could I get the podium in the booth real quick?
setup races, you're typically running cars that are really hard coming off the right rear tire. In fixed setup races, you don't have that luxury. We'll do that again.
Yep, apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. Had the audio off. So back here for our interview portion of the broadcast, and joining us here this evening, no surprise to see the most dominant car of the evening here, driving the number 100 Kodak Advantix Pontiac, Apollo Hyde. Apollo, you got a copy from us in the broadcast booth?
I certainly do.
Well, you certainly beat everybody's pants off here this evening, leading all but 4 laps of the Napa 100, and first things first, like we said a couple times during the broadcast, that this division is a fixed setup compared to what we typically see the open setup in the Fuel Grand National Series. How much of a difference is there between the fixed setup and the open setup?
Yeah, so the two mindsets are completely different. So with your open setup league, you can typically just run the car however you want. Which gives you a lot of creative freedom between how you want to manage your tire wear over a long run. It's a lot more tire wear focused as opposed to strictly pace focused, and like you can run the car the way that you want. With the fixed setups, you have to run typically a car that's a lot tighter than what you would typically be accustomed to. That was certainly the case tonight, with the exception of whatever happened on the very start of the race. I don't know if the track was not dry in turn 1 or whatever, but we all went for a slip and slide entering turn 1 at the start of the race. So I'm not quite sure what caused that, but all of those issues seem to go by the wayside with the other starts of the race. So I have no idea what happened there, but typically this was a setup that required you actually to use a lot of brake to turn the car. It was a very counterintuitive way to drive the car. Typically on an oval like this, you're steering the car with the throttle. But in this case, the way to put down the fastest lap was to really charge hard in and then get on the brake. And getting on the brake, there's a lot of rear brake in the car, and that allowed the rear end to kick around, and that's how you got the car to turn. So really counterintuitive setup tonight, and I was just fortunate enough to be able to figure that one out, and I felt like I got a little bit of a leg up on everyone else. And after that last pit stop, I felt like we had a good stop, a good trip on and off of pit road. All I needed to do was break the draft to the 37, and we put down some pretty fast laps to do that, and we kind of just put it in cruise from there.
Yeah, and you certainly did, and like you said, you were pretty much just trying to beat the 37 car, which has basically kind of been your mantra across both of these divisions. But going back before that final pit stop, that battle with Keon Daly, what was going through your head trying to prevent that 94 car from going to the inside of you?
I just knew that if he tried to go to the inside, it was just never going to stick. So if he was going to try to dive to my inside and make that move, he was either going to have to go through my car and wreck me, and that is something that Keon's done before, not intentionally, but it has happened before. So if it does happen again, I mean, that is what it is. But there was also one time where he was able to sufficiently get to my inside before the corner, but I also had a line that was pretty close to that outside wall that I had really well figured out in practice. I did an entire tire run just running the outside line, trying to figure that out, because I know that this is a track where you're not going to be able to take the best line every single lap. In fact, because the track is so wide, you might just miss the inside line and you have to figure out how to take something else. So I really try to figure out that outside lane, and I feel like that also gave me an advantage.
And of course, final question here for you before we get into the sponsorship obligations. You talked a little bit and you hinted a little bit on Wednesday night after the race at Iowa, going into this new series, you're looking to defend another championship. What's the mindset going into this season? Just trying to just stay consistent. And were you satisfied with your performance tonight going into these next 11 races?
Well, I can't be dissatisfied with a win. That's for sure. We can never be dissatisfied with a win. I feel like that my pace was a little bit surprising tonight. I wasn't expecting to be as fast as I was. I'm happy that it ended up turning out that way. But I wasn't expecting to be as fast as I was. We just had a really good car tonight. I was able to figure out the setup, and as far as the rest of the 11 races go, some of those races are probably not going to go my way. Some of them definitely aren't going to go my way. So when those come up, we're just going to try to finish the best that we can.
Well, certainly are, and of course, consistency is key, and using that key to unlock victory. Final thing before we let you go, anybody that you want to shout out, any sponsors you'd like to give some love to here this evening after your first win on the North American Sim Racing Network?
Yes. Of course, I don't know if this was mentioned in the broadcast at all, but I am running the late Larry McClure decal on my car for Sportsman for the rest of the season. As a tribute to him, I was a huge fan of that Kodak number 4 as a kid growing up, and it's definitely a legend that I feel sad that has left us, and the world's definitely a little bit worse off without him. So we'll keep those tributes on the car all the way through, and yeah, hopefully we'll see more victories for this Kodak Pontiac.
Well, it's certainly looking fast, and it certainly looks sleek here tonight. Apollo, congratulations on your win here in the Season 3 opener here at the Auto Club Speedway in the Napa 100.
All right, thank you.
User was moved out of your channel.
That was Apollo High, driver of the number 100 Kodak Advantix Pontiac, and of course our second place driver, the number 37 of Vincenzo Focasato. One spot short, but still a good night so far tonight. Vincenzo, you got a copy of us up in the booth?
Read you loud and clear, Trey.
Awesome to hear. So coming into tonight, you know that once again Apollo Hyde is going to be one of the top drivers to beat. You guys dueled it out for the championship for the Grand National Series on Wednesday, and then 2 days later you go jump back into the server here in the Sportsman cars. First things first, what's really your biggest difference between the Grand National cars, where you got the open setup, and the fixed setup here of the Sportsman series?
That's a good question. I mean, this might sound like a bit of an obvious answer, but I suppose it really is mostly just the fact that you can't tailor a car to fit your own liking. I know that's the name of it, so it's a bit of an obvious answer, but with the fixed setup Friday night races, what you have is what you get. So you have to figure out how to make it work for you, as opposed to making the car work for it. I'm really bad with wording this stuff, so I don't know how to go further in depth than that. But yeah, you know that the car's probably going to be stable, probably going to be a little on the tight side, so that there's no worries of everybody spinning. So learning how to drive a car with a front end that you can't abuse too hard is probably one of the more important things for the fixed setup races.
It certainly is. And then coming into tonight, what was your strategy to try to stay towards the front end of the field with a pretty packed field here tonight we had 14 entries in total, and then a couple bowed out for the 12-car field, but still a pretty stacked field overall.
Yeah, I had a good turnout, and it was a lot of fun racing all of them. Strategy-wise, the only thing on my mind for the whole race was to try to keep the right front as fresh as I could, and see if I could do that any better than Keon or Apollo. I tried pushing towards the end of that first stint as we approached the pit stops to see if I had saved enough reserves to put them to use, and tried to get by Keon once, and he flew right back by me, so I didn't quite get there. But staying on pace with them was something that I was happy with achieving, considering how fast that the both of them were. So I think I put myself in as good of a spot as I could have, all things considered. Apollo is just very, very talented.
She certainly is, and certainly over these next couple of weeks, there are going to be some tracks where your talents will shine over hers, and it's certainly going to be another good championship battle to the end. But what tracks on this 11-race schedule that we've got remaining here in season number 3 do you have circled that you could potentially beat that 100 and end up on the top step of the pylon?
To be straightforward, I don't know about stacking up against Apollo, because they're just, it doesn't matter where we go, they're obviously very fast and one of the big names to beat. Um, but I am looking forward, just in terms of how much I'll enjoy them, to the races at Cape Cod and Darlington, especially. Um, those two, I'm going to be really happy once we get there. Uh, Cape Cod is a track that I have not raced at in, I believe, 7 years. It's been a long time, and that's the only time I've ever run there. I've been waiting to go back ever since. And I've only gotten a couple starts at Darlington, but ringing around that track an inch from the wall at high speeds with the back end kicked out is, there's few feelings like that. So I'd say those are two races I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, and especially with these Cup 98 cars, that is certainly going to be a thing that we're going to have a hell of a fun time calling here. Before we let you out of Dodge, is there anybody you want to shout out, any sponsors you want to give some love to here on the NASRN network?
Yeah, if anybody from EFR is tuning in, hello, I love you all. You guys are the best. And I enjoy racing with all of you whenever I get the chance. If Dad or Andrew or Cameron are watching, hello to you guys too. And just a big shout out for everyone in Fuel for making this such a good place to race.
Certainly is a home here for a lot of these guys, and especially for this rivalry that you've got here between yourself and Apollo Hyde. But your runner-up finish here for tonight, P2 for Vincenzo Focusata. Vincenzo, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us here after the race.
Yeah, thanks for the show, Trey. Thank you.
User was moved out of your channel.
That was Vincenzo Focusato, driver of the number 37 BWT Pontiac Grand Prix. And then we'll go to our third place finisher driving the number 94 machine. We can get him here up in the booth.
User was moved to your channel.
And here we are, our third place finisher of the evening, driver of the number 94 local Dodge dealer Dodge. Keon Daly got a copy of us here in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, Trey, I got you.
Was worried there for a brief moment. So coming into this race after a little bit of a lackluster run in the Sportsman finale a couple of weeks ago at Michigan, coming to a similar track here to Michigan here at Auto Club, what was your strategy coming into tonight with this fixed setup?
I'll be honest, didn't get off the best start considering I started from the pit lane, but once I got into it, the Dodge dealer's Intrepid was pretty fast. My main strategy was, Devin said, to use the brakes because that would help the car turn and it wouldn't burn up the rear tires. In qualifying, I didn't really use the brakes because I was trying to get time, but I was methodical with it all day. Took what the car gave me and ended up with third.
You certainly did, and you were battling there in second for the race lead there with Apollo Hyde. Were you trying to utilize that low line, that high grip paint there on the low side, trying to make anything a little bit work? And what was the strategy there?
My strategy, I usually arc the corner pretty hard. I try to get as high as possible on the straights, like right up to the boards, and then like charge it down to the bottom, hook the apex, and then drive out. I got to his bumper a couple times. We almost tangled into, like, I want to say, like, I didn't want to wreck anybody, so I cut him some slack. But overall, there was not much difference between us. I just feel like I needed a bit more. Just never got it. Staying out next round is what did me, and I lost a ton of time on that. But overall, good day, good points day, and we'll see what we are able to accomplish in Augusta. Good track for us. Ran well there, so I think we should have a good run in the store.
Yeah, and you mentioned next week's race at Augusta Speedway, and just looking over the calendar here in general, we got 11 more races after tonight. Which tracks are you most excited to be going to here in season number 3 of the Sportsman series here in the Fuel?
I want to try Old Spice. I've never been there before. I feel like, but the type of road course it is, I think it'll be good to us. Obviously, Augusta ran there and saw it before, so we got prior experience there. I'm pretty good at Super Speedway, so this also under. And to be honest, I think I'm gonna struggle. I've never really been good with short tracks, but sometimes you gotta make what you get. Hopefully, it treats us well. But the job's not done. We still got 11 weeks left, so we'll see how the season goes.
Certainly plenty of time to potentially mount some wins and mount a run at the championship. Before we let you out of Dodge here, Keon, anybody that you want to shout out over the airwaves, any sponsors you want to give some love to?
Thanks to Dodge. Thanks to the guys at Diamond Chrysler for giving us good equipment. We got Cinnabon come on board for the season, so we'll be looking to give them a good run. Stay tuned. We'll have them probably at Daytona, so be on the lookout for that. Target, she's all of them. They're the one to keep the lights on, keep the show going. So thanks to you, Trey, and I'll just see you back here soon next week.
Hopefully you will, and definitely a great car out on track tonight. P3 for Keon Daly and the number 94 Dodge Dealers Intrepid. Keon, thank you so much for joining us here post-race.
For having me.
User was moved out of your channel.
And that will do it here for the season premiere of season number 3 of the Fuel Racing League here from the Auto Club Speedway. Congratulations to Apollo Hyde for getting the job done. But the job is not done yet here in the Fuel Racing League. Next week, we'll be up in Augusta, rather down in Augusta. Down in Georgia. The Devil went down to Georgia and they put a massive right-handed corner on the back straightaway. Next weekend on Friday, August 8th, Friday night fixed setup racing here in the Fuel Racing League. That'll be next Friday, August 8th here, 9 o'clock airtime. Rather, 8 o'clock other direction, 10 o'clock airtime. We go on green flag racing around 10:15 local time here on the North American Sim Racing Network. And that will pretty much do it. On behalf of everybody here at the Fuel Racing League, for Apollo Hyde, Tyler Stallhood, everybody that is able to make this possible here on the NASRN, my name is Trey Wright from Fontana, California. On behalf of everybody at the North